Hello, and welcome to Reality Realness's review of the new Survivor, David versus Goliath. We haven't actually talked about this. My name is Michael Pez.
I'm Chantele Francis, and we're going to take a look at up until episode 8. So we've both been watching independently, having small little conversations about what's been going on in David versus Goliath. We decided with the final 11 to come together and do a final draft pick on who we think is going to be the winner. There'll be one person that is left out, so that's for you guys to have as your winner pick, or biggest loser, most likely. So we're just going to talk about the season, and we're going to make some draft picks, late season drafts.
Yeah, and overall, how do you like the season?
I like the season. I do. I don't necessarily like the theme. Like, I find it's like, let's try to make everything like all about David versus Goliath. Like, okay, sure. But like, does there have to be a theme? Can they just have been people on a tribe? But in general, though, I still actually like what's been going on. I think it's been pretty interesting. I feel like the characters that they picked out this season have been quite fun. Not too typical. I mean, maybe Christian would be considered typical, but I actually really like him, even though he's considered typical. So, what about you?
I like the season. I like how the Davids, all of them come from a past of like having to work really hard to get what they want, and it shows in their characters. It shows on the characters of each one. In the Goliaths, some of them are kind of a little smug. Some of them are very arrogant, and some of them are very like, but that's who they are, and that's why they got cast. That's why they're awesome. So I like the season. It took me a while to like memorize everyone's names because it just, I don't know. Like, I didn't know who was on the David tribe. I didn't know who was like, when they swapped them and made it 3 tribes, I was like super confused. However, now that they've merged and now that the editing has been very good on each person, I don't know who's gonna win. There's a few that I'm like, okay, well, they haven't had a lot of airtime, so I don't think that they're gonna even like make it pretty far. You can always see in every Survivor, there's some people that don't get a lot of airtime, so you kind of know that their storyline from the beginning they're not going to win.
Yeah, like they've been following it, so it's like they haven't been building up like how he came from the Goliath. Now he's the winner of Survivor. Like, they didn't do that. But sometimes when they do like a mid-season, like, oh, this is like starting to watch him. Like, I feel like that's kind of happening with Davey right now, because like before I was like, Davey ain't got no shot. Like, I'm like, he's not going to play that idol correctly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just didn't see that happening.
He did. He played that
advantage. I'm like, I'm not sure if he's going to have the know at all to play that effectively with that, like that immunity killer or whatever it's called. So I definitely can see some story arcs being redeveloped now that we're like into the merge. Some characters that weren't, I guess, as important in the preseason or the pre-merge season seem to be getting a little more airtime now. So
yeah, there's some people that are like, their storylines, like some of them are falling back. So why don't we just like go right into our little draft picks? Okay.
So you wanted to go first.
No,
so
I don't have to go first. Like, okay, I'll go first. I would love to pick as my first person, because then I get to pick one and then you get to pick 2?
Correct.
Okay. I would really like to have, it's a lot of pressure. I'm going to take...
This is who he wants to win.
This is who I want to win the whole thing.
No, I'm like, you're doing want or think or both.
It's like want and think that I want Nick as my first one.
That's my first choice.
Yeah, that's my first. I feel like he's got a very great storyline. He's really good at those like little challenges. They always put him in those challenges to like hit that target with that beanbag and like do all that. And he's like doing it, and he's pretty cute too. So like, I'm down.
He definitely came from like almost being voted out, and then Pat like kind of saving him by having his medical evac, to kind of being under the radar. Like nobody is talking about him at all.
At all.
So,
and that's the best.
But he's also is privy to a lot of conversations. So it's like he's not on the outside of anything, but like he still has like an influence, but nobody's looking at him as like a threat. So I think that it's a very good pick. If he wins, I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
So my next pick, I think, it's a little more risky than yours, but I'm going to take him just because he's playing the middle, and that's Alec.
Okay, well that was my other choice. So
yeah. Exactly. So like as much as like he's playing the middle, he could get caught and he could get screwed. He also might be able to keep them battling against each other and still making one side believe that he's with them, and then the other side, like, you know, I feel like he might be able to bounce back and forth a few times, because it just doesn't seem like he's going to be the biggest threat right now, because everybody's still David versus Goliath. So I think it's a solid pick. What do you think?
I think it's great. Like Alec's been that person that flipped on their tribe and got Natalia out. And then which
back to Burnham.
Risky, and then they won the next tribal council, the next immunity, so they didn't get kicked off, so that was good for him. And then he was known as a flip-flopper, but he's just so damn charming and so great that it's like he really wants to work with these Davids, and he is also standing up for his game, which I really like.
Now, do you think it's going to be outed, the fact that it was him that let the cat out of the bag about Christian?
Oh, this past.
I mean, it's not.
At this point, I'm like, I think that it's going to be a bunch of who cares. I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna be a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it serves the Davids very well if they actually tattle on him, because like if he's being like a secret agent right now, like it's to their benefit. So
yeah, right now he is fine with the Davids. And he is fine with the Goliaths. Like he's playing a good middle ground as well as Nick is. So that's why those two people should link up but not talk to each other for a little bit. Like they should just like separate, but just have this mutual understanding.
The only thing with Alec is that he's so sneaky that like people might stop trusting him. So it's easy.
Sure, but there's bigger targets out there that are like, yeah. Okay, go for the next one.
My next one is going to be Dr. Alison.
Good job.
I think that she's a little bit under the radar. She's a little bit of a Davey on the inside. We can see that she's capable of winning individual immunity. She's not being talked about as a target, it seems. When Angelina was in the hot seat, she was kind of like, well, I think you did that for jury management. Like she's very, very level-headed, and doesn't get emotional when she's talking about facts. And I think that's going to bode well with like if she ever wants to get a certain agenda across. So I think she has the possibility to win because she might fly under the radar a little bit. She still has a little bit of agency in who is going to be going home, and like I feel like her voice is heard, and she's also a physical threat to a certain extent, so I think that she could go pretty far.
Yeah, good job. Okay, so my next choice, it's so funny. So I circled 4 and you took 2 of the circles, so that's good. Circle gets a square. I'm just gonna take her because she's just so controversial. I'm gonna take Angelina.
All yours.
I'm gonna take Angelina because of a couple of things. I watched Survivor, I don't know how many seasons. I've watched probably like 33 out of the 37. And there's always this common thing where the person you think that, oh, that person's not going to go very far, and they go pretty far, and then they end up winning. She's been talking from the first episode. I noticed that. She stands out. She is brilliant casting. She's one of the most brilliant casting I've ever seen, because she's not the kind of girl that I would throw out in the wild. She seems like one of those. What does she do for a living?
I don't know. Her husband's in the army. I don't know if
Oh,
she's
okay, cool. Well, she's very level-headed, and she's very strategic.
headed. No.
Well, I mean, like level-headed. Maybe I'm using the wrong word, but I guess I'm saying like she's very. She's always strategizing and always thinking. So I feel like she's very calm in her like thinking, but she's also very like pushy when it comes. She's very stubborn.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's someone that's hard to work with. But I mean, at the end of the day, that guy, like when she said to that guy, she goes, "Give me that immunity," and he's like, he just sat there, and I was like, "Don't use it on her. Don't give it to her." But I mean, like. Hey, they got John out, so John was going to be one of those people that was going to be a very hard person to get at.
Yep.
You know, so I'm taking her just because she's probably up next, but like you never know.
Vibe in my books. For me, like I feel like, I mean, I agree with the things that you're kind of saying about her, but I just feel like she's just always going to be the target. I just don't think she's going to evade, being voted out 8 times or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know if she is that lucky or is that strategic because everybody hates her so much. It's just too much. Like, if she's a little bit more likable, a little bit less like, always pushing her agenda, a little bit more, maybe if she finds an idol, she might be able to stay around for a little bit because 2 of them are going to be back up in the game. So maybe. But I just feel like she's just always going to have the target on her, and she's going to be the easy scapegoat all the time. Like, let's vote for Angelina. Let's vote for Angelina. And like, if she has the chops, I'm impressed. But it's too many eviction or vote outs that like, I just don't know.
I hear you.
Who's the other?
I will go with. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to go with Gabby.
Oh.
Gabby is one of those characters who, from the beginning, was been talking the whole time. Every time she opens her mouth, she cries whenever she gives her opinion, which seems like that could be a weakness, but I think that is a great attribute to her character because in the game aspect, because people will look at her and go, "Oh, she's so emotional, blah, blah, blah." But like, she has always been like talked about as someone that should get kicked off. They're always like, "We should get rid of Gabby. We should get rid of Gabby. We should get rid." We got rid of Gabby, then blah, blah, blah. But she's still there. And now that they've merged, there's bigger targets out there. So she's just gonna coast. And her and Christian have this little thing going on. And then she's also in, I don't know, is she in that 6? She in that 6? So then perfect. Great.
It's an okay pick in my book. The only reason why I'm hesitant about Gabby is because she's, if people recognize that she is Christian's kind of number 1 or like sidekick, like they might go after her to go after him. So I watched some secret scenes and they were talking about Davey, how he used they all voted for for John because they couldn't get Dan. Dan had the immunity idol, so they're going for Dan's right-hand man. That's why John got the votes. And even if the idols hadn't been used last episode, they still put 3 votes on Dan and 2 votes on Angelina. So I wouldn't be surprised if they use that same strategy to take out Gabby, so they can also be more strengthened by Christian. And, she might just be a casualty from being his number 1.
Gotcha.
But it's still a solid choice. I think that she does have more capability than I was giving her credit for in the beginning, to gather the troops and get them to be on her side. And she was able to switch that vote in the beginning. So I think that she does have some chops in that sense. But her emotional stability is kind of annoying, and it might be annoying on the island.
All right.
So you're going to choose Gabby. I'm going to choose Christian.
Someone had to.
I think Christian is a little bit more likable than Gabby. That could be a bad thing, obviously, but I think that, especially since they saved him in that last round. And even though Mike wants him out, Strike Force could still probably go strong without Mike. So I feel like people want to work with him. People want to keep him around. And if they don't strike soon, he'll actually probably go to the end and probably win. So he's in like kind of like a teetering area. Like it is right for them to be going after him now because he could just skate through to the end. But I don't think they're going to do that because I think more people like him than want to see him out.
He's such a funny character.
He's so cute.
He's so funny. Like the way he talks is very, I don't know. It's just very matter of fact, and it's very like, like it's very
Staccato.
Yeah, it's staccato. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
You like it?
Another one.
Okay. My other choice is I'm gonna go for Davey. Now, up until him using that idol, I didn't have much faith in Davey. But now I see that he has a little bit of strategic chops that I didn't give him any credit for before. I don't know if he came up with the idea himself, but the fact that like he knew that it was now or never for him to use the idol, he rationalized in the secret scenes that he, with the vote steal and his idol getting out a Goliath, that at least they'd have a chance in the numbers the next vote out. If Nick votes with them, for sure they'll have the numbers, and then they have the vote still. So it would just make it more likely for them to maybe come out on top there. If he didn't use it and he kept it for himself, it would most likely be that all the guys would be kicked off, and like him and Carl, because they have these advantages, would be the last two Davies standing. So David's. So yeah, so I took Davey just because he showed me some chops, and they might have taken up the advantage now, and the Goliaths have no idea.
Good job. Okay, so we got 4 left.
There's 3 left. Is there 1, 2, 3?
4.
So you get 1, I get 1, and 1 is left out.
There's 4 left.
4?
We got Dan, Carl, Cara, and Mike.
Oh, I forgot about Dan.
Okay. Well, if we know that.
Wait, if there's 4 left, then 2 for you and 1 for me. Okay.
Yeah, and then that would be even. Then I want Mike. And I want Cara.
Okay.
And then you can have some. Who are you taking? Carl or Dan?
I'm going to take Dan.
Okay.
Wait, so do you want to explain why you're taking Cara?
I'm taking Mike because I love Wreck-It Ralph. And I love School of Rock. And I'm like rooting for him because he's a level-headed guy, and like I really like him. I think he's a great fit for Survivor. I like how they put like a little bit of celebrities on it now. You know, like I love when they put that Facts of Life girl on. That was the best. that was a great season. And no one knew it was her. Like I would totally have known it was her. But oh yeah, like I was a huge Facts of Life like kid. Like that was a show for me. I love Tootie. Kim Fields, she's my favorite. Okay, so I chose Mike because Mike just has that little bit of celebrity to him. He's playing the game, but I don't know if he's gonna like do it. Like I don't know if he's gonna go any further because he was gunning for Christian, and that could be let out of the bag. Like so, not Alec, but I think that the fact that Mike is like been talked about like that. And then Cara was like, has always been great at the beginning. Cara and Dan had their little thing going on. Cara knows that he's got another immunity idol. So that's good. She's really pretty and charismatic. And yeah, that's all I got. I mean, like, she ended up, she could win the whole thing, but you never know. I'm just going to take her for that.
I said Dan, but like now I'm sort of fluctuating. Like maybe Carl's a better choice because Dan is most likely going to be voted out. Everybody hates him.
Yeah, why does everyone hate him so much?
He's a little bit arrogant and kind of annoying.
Oh.
Like look at how he lost that immunity challenge because he was kind of being arrogant and like even when he was talking to Angelina and like rolling his eyes. I don't know. He just seems like he's a little bit of a dick.
Well, I mean, like, you can switch it if you like.
I'm going to switch it
Okay.
because Carl has the advantage.
Yeah.
Because Dan is not likable enough. I just don't think that people give him the money. And I just don't think he's going to go that far. So Carl kind of by default, I think will go further than Dan. So that's why I'm going to take him.
Are they doing like, I don't like when they do that, but like, are they doing a final 2 or a final 3?
I think it's a final 3. I'd rather final 2, to be fair.
Always. I don't like final 3.
Final 3, well, there's been like 2 final 2. Like final 3 kind of sucks. But I'll take it because I love Survivor.
That's a good one.
So on your team, you have Nick, Gabby, Cara, and Mike.
And Angelina.
And Angelina.
Oh my maybe I should have gone first.
You always end up with some misfits. It's funny.
I do, but like when we did the Big Brother 21, I was like, ooh, like what do I got here? And then I ended up winning it. So like it was good.
I had better people for sure.
You did have better people, but you had Big Brother and Survivor are completely different games. Big Brother is about like social and like doing that kind of thing. This is about surviving the elements, and if you can like also like win immunities and just personal story, like yeah, I don't know.
Fair. So yeah. I have Alec, Alison, Davey, and Carl and
Christian,
which
is quite great. You have the better. I think that you have the better choices. However, mine could slip all under the radar and take it. You know, there could be a few upsets there.
True.
I'm actually now that we've done this, now I'm going to be watching it even more and be more excited watching it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, and unfortunately, viewers, you have Dan.
Dan.
You have Dan, and you know what? Maybe, quite possibly, Dan could just keep winning immunities and just do his thing. But I just don't see him in Final Tribal Council being like, "Oh, I fought, and oh, I'm cool, and I like." If it comes down to it, David's going to win this unless the Goliath is Alec.
Right.
Yeah. Because how many I have David, Goliath, Goliath. I have 3 Goliaths. And you have Goliath, David. Okay. Well, that's a good little thing. You got 3 Davids, I got 3 Goliaths. That's good.
We know what Goliath's gonna win.
Yeah. What's that?
I said we know what David's gonna win.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, fuck, man. Like, that's the good thing.
Goliath can't win on David versus Goliath. Like, it just doesn't happen.
The only way that the Goliaths will win if it's 3 Goliaths at the end.
Yeah.
And it would be like, I don't know. Alison, Angelina, and Alec, or I don't know, at the end. No.
And who would win? Who do you think?
Out of those 3, probably Alec. Alec out of those 3. Angelina could have a good fight and a good story. The only way Angelina's going to win is if she's up against, like, Gabby and Carl. I don't know. Yeah, like, I don't know. But is there anything else we want to talk about?
Not really.
Okay, well, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe down below to Reality Realness. You can find us on our Instagram at Reality Realness with 3 S's. You can find me at Michael Pez.
Or me at Shan Fran.
And make sure you tune in because in about 2 weeks, we are going to be doing our draft picks for the new RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 4. And we'll be doing that just around that new Christmas episode for them. So thank you for tuning in. Subscribe down below. And thank you so much for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.